What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Canes Insight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Happy Thursday. Fired up, man. Canes Sports is rolling. Recruiting is rolling, and excited to bring it all to you. Our Thursday show is a little different. We start the normal time, 9 o'clock, and we're going to do a quick recruiting segment. Then we're going to sign off for a little bit. I'm going to interview Coach Arteaga. We'll jump back on at 10. Do our normal show, and then we'll throw that JT Arteaga interview at the end of it. But fired up, man. And we'll start, as always, talking recruiting, because I know you maniacs love that. We'll talk some football as well at the 10 o'clock show, breaking down the defensive tackle position for some folks that, if I break them down and get them straight A's for their roster, that's Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Pete, hop in.
D, good morning.
Morning, Pete, man. Fired up to do this. Excited to talk to JD. Another big win yesterday.
There you go. You've been close. You've said JT a couple times.
You know what it is?
I know. It's at the alliteration.
It's the alliteration.
I know. I need you to be aware of it because it's happened a couple times, and I don't want you
I
to
say
slip
JD.
up,
It sounds like JT.
I know.
So yeah, man, it's a big win yesterday, 6-2. So Canes taking care of business, 5-0 start.
The Fighting Larry Birds, huh?
Yeah, the Sycamores took one. It was close for a minute. They're not a bad team. They're at least not a bad program. I think they were in that tournament a couple of years ago. I want to say they made a super regional, but ultimately Canes took care of business. But speaking of the Midwest, Pete, let's get into it here, because the Miami Hurricanes have been doing a lot of work in the Midwest. We've talked about it a ton, whether it's tight ends, different positions. Milan Paris last year, wide receiver. But the bread and butter of their Midwest recruiting has been the defensive line position, particularly in Chicago, man. So Chicago, first of all, you did go to tight end from Chicago when you got Gavin Mueller last year, but defensive lineman, Justin Scott, 5-star player, and Marquise Life, a 5-star player. They came in. They're here now entering their third year. Last year, breakout seasons for both of them, big parts of that elite defense, of that run to the championship. So Chicago has been good for the Canes, and the Canes have doled out 3 offers in the Windy City to defensive linemen, Pete. So we can get into them. You tell me where you want to start, but they're all 3 of these guys, different schools, same city, similar profiles, exciting players from the Windy City.
We'll start with Brayden Parks, listed as 6'3", 305, 247. Their rankings have him as 128, and the composite is 234. So top 240, 250 player consensus, and maybe higher than that. And he's got some offers. I mean, he's got Bama, he's got Auburn, he's got Florida, he's got Louisville. Georgia just offered him within the last couple of weeks here as well, which is normally a good sign with these defensive linemen. But you see it here, and I think, D, I don't know if this is just me, kind of seeing things, but I feel like they're going after some guys with some bigger frames in this cycle early on.
Yeah, that's one thing you get in Chicago, is just some physically talented players, right? Because these guys are tall. A lot of them played basketball. I'm not sure exactly what the background is of these guys as far as the basketball side, but a lot of these kids grow up playing basketball in Chicago, so they have size, but they don't get necessarily the notoriety that you'd expect, because even though Chicago produces a lot of NFL players, it's not Miami, it's not Atlanta, it's not anywhere like that. But this guy can really, really move. High motor player. Tim O'Halloran, who's like the Larry Bluestein of that area, been doing this for 30 years. He said this guy's as good as it gets, high motor. He compared him to Justin Scott, just as far as like some of the best guys that have come out of that area. So recruit a little lower than Justin Scott. Justin Scott's a top 10 player in the country. This guy's just a 4-star, but the recruiting interest is there. And P, watching the film, I mean, he's doing exactly what you want to see, knocking people back, beating them off the line with quickness. There you see the power of the last couple of reps, but you've also
you're not really having to project the frame with this one, D. A lot of these guys that you're looking at right now, and we understand what Corey Heatherman wants, is these quicker 3-techs, but we've both been saying it. At a certain point, you're going to need some size, and Moton's not tiny. David Blay wasn't tiny last year either. These were guys that ended up being a couple of your bigger bodies in there, and you're going to need to replace them here moving forward.
No doubt. And these are the separators, these body types, these athletes. This is what separates the conference champions, the national championship contenders from everybody else. I use this example all the time, FSU, right? FSU, they had defensive linemen. They won a championship. Defensive linemen ran out of gas. They sucked for a long time. They got Brayden Fisk and Jared Verse. They were good again. Defensive line fell off, and the rest fell off. Clemson really dominated with defensive line. They had some good ones this year, but not the depth that they had when they were winning championships. You have to keep a steady stream of these players. I think Georgia's fallen off a little bit on the defensive line, which is why they weren't as good this year as they've been in the past. I'm sure they'll try to get that back with guys like Elijah Griffin. Did you see that play? So for those not watching and listening on the audio, our guy Brayden Parks just intercepted a screen pass, but not like one that was right at him. He kind of like mossed the running back, like jumped over him, went over the top of him. Look at this play, Pete. So here he is, lined up inside, sees the screen, goes up top, and does like an over and back, but no fouls called in football and gets the interception. And pretty impressive, right? What you're seeing here, Pete.
Yeah, beast, man. Really, really a beast. And again, it's the size that I'm looking at here, D. A lot of these guys in this last group, I think, Frederick Saintis is over 300 pounds right now. He's at like 303, but he might be a guy that it takes a little bit of development just because he's newer to the game. This is one that looks pretty ready-made from an athletic and physical standpoint.
Yeah, he looks like an Ahmad Moten. In fact, that's kind of who he reminds me of, just seeing him move around. I don't know if you see that comp, just Ahmad Moten.
He looks bigger than Moten, though, to me, D. I mean, maybe not like right now this second, but he looks bigger than Moten did at that age.
No, he's heavy. There's no question. And I think when you talk about these guys, you see them all over the Southeast. That's really where you get most of these body types, this playing style, this athleticism, these true defensive tackles, we'll call them, or big defensive ends, 270 plus. You get those guys in the Southeast generally, which is why the Southeastern Conference has been doing well for 2 decades. I think you can also find them in big cities like Chicago. Not all of them, but they're scattered throughout the big cities. So a team like Miami, who's not going to go into the Southeast and get guys all the time from in Alabama and Auburn and Georgia, you got to kill it with these guys that are in Chicago, that are in Detroit, right, that are in Los Angeles, whatever it is, these big cities, certainly Miami. We got Jamar Thompson from West Boca down here in South Florida. But you got to get those guys from the big cities. Make sure they are coming to Miami. You look at some of the guys we had, Ahmad Moten and Mondo Blunt from South Florida, Justin Scott, of course, from Chicago. That's, to me, where we got to live when it comes to defensive tackles. This guy, by the way, this guy's highlight reel, we've watched now, I don't know, 7 minutes of this. He is killing guys still. This is one of the most impressive.
It's a 14-minute highlight, by the way. So
I know the comp is not elite, Pete, but this is some of the most impressive stuff I've seen. And we've been watching all these highlight reels.
I've seen worse competition than this.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Quite frankly.
He's winning with power. He's winning with
I got to hit up, you know who I got to hit up? I got to hit up our Chicago insider, College Mike.
There it is.
Mike Kwiatkowski. He usually gives me the scoop on what sort of schools we're dealing with here. So yeah, this doesn't look horrible. This doesn't look horrible. So
no, and the dominance is, I mean, again, we usually like.
He's got a big boy. He's got a big boy next to him too inside.
Yeah, he does. We usually like these offers. Not like we're killing guys on the film, but this is. I mean, there he just smashes the guard into the quarterback and puts his hands up like, "Hey, I didn't rough him. I just beat the guard so bad that he fell into the quarterback." This is really impressive stuff. Here he's on screens chasing.
There you go. That's what Justin Scott did against Notre Dame.
Yeah. So put that guy right there. Having seen him for the first time this morning, he jumps to close to the top of my list at defensive tackle. That was super impressive. Yeah. And you look at the schools recruiting him. I mean, Oregon is heavy there. Alabama, Notre Dame, Illinois being the hometown school. I get it. From Brother Rice High School.
Kyle says, I think Heatherman, because we're talking about a lot about the weights of these guys. And Kyle says, I think Heatherman would take a 330-pound D tackle if he can move quickly and has elite athleticism. We all would, my friend. But those guys are very few and far between, and they cost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. And these guys will cost too, but I think you're getting in on them at the right time and in the right region. I like the strategy here because I think it just makes sense as opposed to just pouring a bunch of money and resources and visits into a kid that's going to be very, very hard to pull. So going to the next one here, you want to go to Ohimai?
Let's do it.
Ohimai Ozulua. Hope I did that one right.
Ozulua.
Ozulua. 6'5", 245, number 41 D lineman in America, high 3-star.
And this is the best. And this is the best part of the highlight here.
First year playing football.
First year playing football.
4.1 GPA. Also played tight end a little bit as well. Michigan State is heavy on this one. Boom, right there. He looks like a jamboree. That quarterback was wearing a yellow jersey. I don't think he was supposed to tackle him like that in that scrimmage. But you see him here lined up at N. You're just kind of being an athlete here. Wow, nice closing speed. You see this guy. You see him
kind of like froze. You can tell he kind of like froze for a second, but I mean his length is crazy.
Yeah, you could tell this is bull in China shop. Tall guy, different body type than Peters. It's just longer, more defensive endy, but I'm not sure he looks like a defensive tackle in terms of down the road, Pete. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to judge just from the highlights, but he's playing inside outside, seeing that lower body. This to me looks like a guy that grows into one of those 290-pound defensive tackles. You see him moving all over the line, but less polished than Peters. I mean, look at him. He's just kind of, there's not a lot of technique going on here, and it's kind of all arms and legs, but man, he moves very fast for his height and length.
He's hunting. That's for sure. He looks like he's got some good pursuit. I mean, look at it. I mean, you see him, you always talk about getting down in their stance, D, but he looks like he's got some, I like the movement, man.
Ooh, and by the way, he's already blocked like 3 passes.
I like the movement. Reels. Yeah, I think this is one you stash away.
I'm liking these offers again, but I think this is what you get.
Look at that. Look, I mean, even that was good. I was going to say, yeah, the lateral movement there was great.
This is what
most
you get.
Guys would have fallen over.
And I bet, I don't know the background of this kid. I don't know if he's born in Chicago, if he came from overseas, but
I'm trying to look that up right now, actually.
Yeah, you've seen it before. Sometimes these guys come over to play basketball and they're just like, hey, I'm a good basketball player, but the football coach at the school's telling me I can make millions playing D-line, so I'm with you now. Remember Sonny Odogwu was one of those on the offensive line. So who knows what the story is here, but I'm seeing a guy with a lot of upside, definitely a stash, but who knows? I mean, by the time you see the second year of playing football.
Yeah, I was going to say senior year film will be very intriguing because if he's taking a big leap, then you're looking at a 4-star guy, no doubt, with measurables.
He gets off the ball good. I mean, he might already – he's number 41 in the country, so he's probably borderline 4-star right now.
Traits alone, he should probably be a low 4-star.
And you see the schools after him. Michigan State's working hard on these guys now. Now they got Pat Fitzgerald, which I think was a huge
awesome hire. Well, almost was Miami's D coordinator.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He would have been great. I think we did okay there, but he's the right guy for Michigan State, which man,
Vandy's on him too. I think Vandy's a good telltale sign off for these days as well.
No doubt. What jumps out to me when I'm watching this guy, Ozulua, with 4.1 GPA, that's nice. But just the change of direction when you talk about a tall guy. Sometimes these tall guys are straight line. He is like they're trying to go side to side on him and having very, very little success. I mean, this guy can really, really move. So, Pete, I mean, again, Damian Lewis, this is really his first. Was Damian Lewis here last February? He might have just gotten here. But it feels like we're really seeing his imprints and Heatherman's imprints on this group of offers. And a lot of length, a lot of athleticism. I know Heatherman, as hard and good as his team played, Heatherman's a real traits guy, combine guy. Like he likes all that stuff. He wants guys with physical tools. Obviously, got to play hard and do all those sort of things.
And Heatherman's very involved in these evaluations, man. I think a lot of times coordinators can be hands off, and they're kind of like, I'm trusting these guys that they're going to bring me some dudes. Like Heatherman is not only very involved in the recruiting process, like when guys are on campus and he's engaged, but he is sitting down and evaluating as part of this process, it's very important that I think someone like him starts to get his guys. There is extra attention that's shown to certain players that he definitely, wants. And this isn't just him. This is an across the board thing, but I think he is someone who cares about recruiting, which is not always the case as a top level coordinator like he is.
And you should, I mean, right, control the ingredients a little bit. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to coach these guys. You're gonna have to ask them to do, first of all, what you need and what you don't need as much, because one thing I think we get caught up in sometimes is getting the perfect player. And I give a lot of crap to Bill Belichick just being overrated and all that stuff, but the truth is, when it comes to evaluating, he has a lot of good insights, but one that to me really stands out, which is, don't tell me what a player cannot do. Tell me what he can do, and that's what we'll ask him to do. And if he fits what we need him to do, that's enough. Because you're not going to find the perfect player. So it's a lot about what do we need and what can really help us, and then we'll worry about the rest later. So that to me is a good philosophy.
Sounds like the Jay Lucas philosophy.
Sure does. We talked about it with him yesterday. Great interview. That's exciting, man.
We got Andrew Moran tomorrow, guys, at 9 a.m. So assistant coach Andrew Moran will be joining us, fired up for this weekend. D, as we keep moving along here, I know you got to get JD here at 9:30. Yep. So let's get to, and by the way, I looked up the heritage of Ozulua's name, Benin, which is modern day Nigeria. So some Nigerian roots there. And I believe some Nigerian roots here with the next guy we'll be talking about, David Folorunsho, excuse me.
Yeah, 6'4", 280 from St. Patrick. He's the lowest rated of these guys, number 70 defensive lineman, 3-star. But look at the schools after him: Indiana, Missouri, Penn State. You're talking evaluation schools that land NFL players. Those are the schools after him. 50 tackles, 5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. So, the right schools are on his offer list. And yeah, man, let's pull up
I clicked it out by accident. I'm pulling it up here again.
We'll get it. Jack, by the way, going back to, we were talking about Brayden Parks competition where he was killing people. He says Brother Rice, which is where the first kid Brayden Parks went to school. Brother Rice. He says that they play good competition.
It looked good. It didn't look like they were playing slouches there.
Chicagoland. Is that what they call Chicago in the suburbs? Chicagoland?
I don't know.
I guess. So yeah, let's take a look at our guy here.
King David.
There he is. King David. I like him already. 6'4", 285. Look at the guns. She's posting a picture mid-flex. There you see him on the edge. Good stance. Okay. Okay.
I always like when these big guys, they play him on the edge, because it shows the athleticism they have. They aren't just trying to let him, he's playing inside here, and he's going to be a D tackle at the next level, I think. But I like when they let him get after the quarterback there, D.
Pete, listen, I know we're state media or the Kane Somewhere podcast, and look, who knows if we can get these guys. But I'll tell you right now.
Look at him on special teams, man.
He is
look at he's rolling.
Ooh. Listen, I know we type these guys. I love all three of these offers, man. This is what we need to be doing.
This might be. I mean, I know Brayden Parks. It looks like maybe the most put together, but pure athleticism and burst. This guy might be the one right here.
This guy's getting off the ball, no problem. Very good motor, but fast. You can tell he's strong and powerful. The leverage maybe is one thing. He's just not bending as much as some of these other guys, but I mean, he's so fast and powerful, it doesn't really matter. Here you see him at H-back. We've seen him on special teams already. There you see him at H-back. He had this guy bent over like a U, like his spine went in the other direction.
Yeah, he's got a Nigerian flag in his Twitter page. He lists himself as an athlete DN/tight end.
3-star. Okay, I don't know about this one. 3-star. Again, Indiana, Missouri, Penn State. Those guys have been pretty good about producing big-time defensive linemen and big-time players in general. Oh, this is like someone's hearing this on audio. They're just hearing like grunts and sounds because we're just watching this guy destroy everybody in front of him.
Yeah, comp. I don't know about the comp here, but
big. You know what? He's moving fast, man.
Right. He's moving against the air. He's looking good.
King David. Here you see him at H-back again. We need help at tight end. We just did a whole tight end episode. Boom. He's definitely the finisher.
Finish, yeah.
So here he is coming off the edge. Boom.
I'm all in.
All right, Pete. So yeah, I've seen enough of King David. There he is. Fired up about that one. Fired up about what Miami is doing in terms of the Chicago area. We'll keep track of those recruitments. A lot of competition, but Miami's trying to plant their flag on a big city, which we are huge believers in. Also huge believers in Papa's Alternative Brew. It's not non-alcoholic beer, even though there's no alcohol. There's a buzz here. So don't think this is something you're going to be drinking without buzz. This is with a buzz, 7.5 milligrams to 10 milligrams of THC. Delivers all over the country. It's brewed in Southwest Oregon, but you can get it in Florida, all over the USA. They get this right to your house. Use promo code CANES. Get 25% off your first batch. 25% off with code CANES. Papa's Alternative Brew, the American Unwind. Papa's. Got some hops in every can. All right,
I wanted to get to this comment real quick before you get
ahead.
to JD. Kevin is asking, are offers at this point in the process usually contingency plans? I would say almost the opposite. If one of these guys wanted to commit right now, they just offered them, right? They've got the open they've got the open door to commit. Of course, Miami is going to evaluate throughout their senior years.
Exactly.
But if they're offering these guys now at this point, they're most likely getting on campus for a spring visit or two, official visit here in the early part of the summer. So I think these are very viable options for Miami in terms of if you're getting an offer right now, they're trying to get guys in the boat.
Yeah.
At this point, and you can figure it out after the fact. But if you get them in the boat now, I would say that no, I don't think these are contingency plans. We'll see how things shake out. Like obviously they've got to have 20 plus offers out to defensive linemen. Not every single one of them is going to commit right now, and they can't take every single one of them. But if you get one of these three that we just said right here to commit, and then you can start to fill the board out once you see what you have in the boat and what you still need to add. So
no doubt. And the competition's already there. So it's not like you're that early. You got to get to work. Hey, we're getting to work. We'll see you guys at 10 for the full show. We'll be talking defensive tackles, as we just went over a few. We're talking about the team's defensive tackles and more. I want the JD Arteaga interview. Like and subscribe to the show. See you in a bit. Go Canes.
Go Canes.